Good morning and welcome to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
Happy Thursday, 11th day of May, getting ready for another big weekend here in Savannah, and it is day after tomorrow is Mother's Day.
Yes, it is, and also drag brunch if you're interested, so that's exciting too.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Right here in Savannah.
Check it out. Certainly lots of things to do as always, and we're also coming up just a couple of weeks away from Memorial Day weekend as well.
Yes, the summer is fast approaching, Bill. There is a lot of graduations and such going on in Savannah as well. And I can't believe where we're at, Bill. Can you believe the Trump debates last night?
Yeah, that was amazing. And by the way,
not debate, sorry, town hall by CNN, which was quite surprising to me.
Yeah, it was. I don't know exactly who set that up or why, but they certainly got a lesson in a lady who brought a knife to a gunfight.
Yes, well, also, Trump was not allowed on CNN the entirety of his presidency, which I think is interesting as well. So they did like to talk about him, but never allowed him on the program.
Yeah, ignoring stories like the Hunter Biden laptop and all of the Biden crime syndicate family. Big press conference yesterday with Congressman James Comer, and it was not carried by MSDNC as well as the Communist News Network. Most of them didn't carry it. I don't know if they did or not. It was certainly not mentioned what they love to do on the left side. All of a sudden, charges were brought against George Santos.
I don't think that's an accident or
no. So all of that got lots of coverage.
Yes,
over damn near nothing.
I was going to say they didn't even release the charges. They just said he was being charged federally. Like it took.
And then he may have used some money for expenses from his campaign funds to the tune of $500.
So are they going to be looking at, this is what I think is going to happen. They're just going to start looking at Republicans for any campaign finance law that they can. Because money is so easy. Like all of the rules and stuff with the campaigns, I think it's easy to maybe do something accidentally or not realize that you're not in compliance because it's complicated.
Yeah.
Because they like it that way.
Yeah, certainly is. By the way, we want to welcome new viewers.
Yes, we are streaming live on Twitch today, which is our first time there. So that's exciting. There's so many platforms, Bill.
Really
but you'll find us there. You'll find us everywhere.
Yeah. So keep looking. Tell all your friends. Share this. Being a podcast, there's no particular. We're live right now, 7 to 8 Eastern time. Well, it's Eastern Daylight Time right now. That stupid daylight savings time. I hope we get rid of at some point. But nevertheless, we're 7 to 8 on the Eastern time zone in the morning. But you can podcast. You can watch anytime. It's all on our website at thelocalspin.com.
Yep. So you can always catch up. You can also download the app. So,
sure. And share that with your friends as well.
Yes. And jumping right in, I will say, seeing Trump 2016 come back, I love it. I think he's doing a great job. And
really on his game last night.
Yeah, and people were melting down because they knew that this was good for him. This was very good for him.
Yeah, it was. In fact, they had allocated 90 minutes for this. And actually, they said, well, we'll plan for 90 minutes. We'll actually limit to like 75. And it didn't even go that long. I think it went 70 minutes.
Wow.
And so they had to come out, because all of a sudden they were at the point where, we're getting our can kicked. Maybe we ought to, and the audience was extremely well received on him. He was a very, very positive response.
Yeah. Do you know what the audience makeup was? Like, what were those people?
I have no idea. But all I know is that the audience was laughing at him and laughing at the moderator.
Yeah, moderator. I don't think she was very much last night. I think she was more interested in her own agenda. But
who was that? Having not watched CNN at all anymore. hadn't in a long time, other than just some video clips. They think that bringing back Brian Stelter to get his advice on something from a story on the Hunter Biden and the Biden crime syndicate is something that they ought to be doing. That shows that they're not the sharpest knives in the drawer.
Yeah, and it was Caitlin Collins that was the moderator, but she's young, she's pretty. I mean, but she's definitely the pictures.
Got plenty of those.
Yeah, well, the pictures that I've seen posted of her have a very angry scowl on her face about the entire time. So,
well, with good reason.
Yes, she did get
taken. She got her head handed to her on numerous occasions.
Yes, and one of those occasions was when she kept pursuing the question about who do you want to win this war, Ukraine or Russia?
Yeah. Is would you give Ukraine weapons
I was
and
impeached
funding?
by a crazy woman named Nancy Pelosi.
But the question here is, would you give Ukraine weapons and funding if you were
I
elected?
would sit down. Let me just put it a nicer way. If I'm president, I will have that war settled in one day, 24 hours.
How would you settle that war in one day?
Because I'll meet with Putin, I'll meet with Zelensky. They both have weaknesses and they both have strengths. And within 24 hours, that war will be settled. It'll be over. It'll be absolutely over.
Do you want Ukraine to win this war?
I don't think in terms of winning and losing. I think in terms of getting it settled so we stop killing all these people and breaking down this country. Now,
can I just follow up on that? You said you don't think in terms of winning and losing. Mr. President, can I just follow up on that because that's a really important statement that you just made there. Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying. Russians and Ukrainians. I want them to stop dying. And I'll have that done. I'll have that done in 24 hours. I'll have it done. You need the power of the presidency to do it.
Of just he got his point across instead of falling into her traps that she kept trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she and every time it's like I got him now. We got him in a corner. And of course, we heard this for 4 years from all of the left wing media and the Democrats. But I repeat myself, as that say, okay, the walls are closing in. Any day now, it's gonna come, and Adam Schiff comes on. Yes, sirree, I have this information. Did you notice they never asked Adam Schiff to produce any of that? In fact, one of the congressmen who did never got a response.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. But I think also they were looking for those sound bites that they could use moving forward. That's why they talked about January 6th and the election for a majority of it, because she was trying to get sound bites for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were going to use that, I'm sure, for promo material and to show you what a wonderful, wonderful person, commentator that she was.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
right.
But another point that he got her in was also talking about how the country's currently being run.
Mm-hmm.
Country is being destroyed by stupid people, by very stupid people.
You once said that using the debt ceiling as a negotiating wedge just could not happen. You said that when you were in the Oval Office.
That's when I was president.
So why is it different now that you're out of office?
Because now I'm not president.
Everything is in context. My mother she would give us a hard time sometimes, and she would say to us, I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
And that is one of the stupid people I think Trump was referring to.
Yeah. You think? I think she just fell out of a coconut tree.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Maybe her mother was right.
Yeah. That's,
yeah.
But we must look at from the perspective of the passage of time.
Yes.
Because because the passage of time happens when time passes.
Oh wow, that's so enlightening, Bill.
Yes,
so
sir.
Enlightening.
I could be a speechwriter for her, huh?
Yeah, you could. You executed very well on that.
You have to ask yourself because these things are vetted. He has speechwriters. So they're writing this. The speechwriters are dumb as she is. Well,
or they just want her to look really dumb. I'm not really sure. And maybe it's because it's like they either have the really dumb person running the country or the
Wouldn't you want to keep your job?
Well, the corrupt dementia guy. Well, maybe they have a plan. I have no idea, Bill. These people, like, I cannot explain what's going on with this administration at all. It makes no sense to me. All I know is they definitely are not America first.
And guess what? Yeah, speaking of that, guess what happens at midnight?
Tonight is, it's going to be not a great day for the United States of America.
Title 42 goes away.
And it is lifted, but I also think it's an interesting conversation to have as far as they keep, Title 42, and that only came into play when COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
And while it probably helped a little bit, the way that they've been executing at the border, they have literally just been letting people in. Title 42 has not necessarily helped, and we have laws. Laws in this country say you cannot illegally come into our country. We have a process for it. And these people in the White House are not following the law. Mayorkas is not following the law, and they are handcuffing the Border Patrol. I mean, at the end of the day, Title 42 or not, they shouldn't be allowed to come in.
Exactly.
It doesn't. Title 42 to me is like, okay, it was an additional plus, but at the end of the day, what they're doing is illegal, and it was illegal before Title 42, and it's illegal now.
A lot of, and in fact, the people that are coming in are being surprised when they're actually being apprehended. At least Texas has put up like 18 miles of concertina wire, razor wire, and stopping these people. Texas patrols are on the border as well, and Governor Greg Abbott is trying to stop as many people as possible, and they're confused because the cartels are saying, Title 42 is going away. You don't have to worry about a thing. When it goes back to Title 8 or Section 8 or whatever, which says that you have to be here legally, you have to be processed, or you are going to either be turned away or going to jail. And of course, when you get that jail date of probably of February of 2035, you'll be able to show up in court and take your medicine.
Yeah, well, the thing about it, Bill, is most of the people coming in are, 18 and older men.
Mm-hmm.
They're not young children. They're not families. It's a majority men coming into the country. That's hugely concerning to me, hugely. And I will say there is nothing that, makes me more cautious and making me want to learn how to defend myself better than knowing we have a bunch of men coming into this country. They have no way to work for themselves. So what are they going to do, Bill?
I don't know. What I want to know is where are they getting food? Where are they going to the bathroom? Where are they staying once they get here? I mean, what's going on?
Well, that's my concern. Are they just going to start commandeering people's houses? Because there is no consequences. You have an 80-year-old man that is being prosecuted in the state of Arizona because a couple of illegals were found dead on his property.
Yeah.
And they're saying he shot them, and he's saying, I did not shoot these people. But at the end of the day, they have more rights than the American citizens of this country, and that is wrong. Therefore, how are we going to protect ourselves, Bill? What is that going to look like? Because these people have no way to make a living, so are they just going to start taking things from other people?
That's exactly right, and that's the reason that why the Second Amendment is so vital, and that you're going to have to take matters into your own hands. You call it vigilantism or whatever it is that you want to, as well. Like the Reverend Al Sharpton bitching and moaning up there in New York over this Marine. That defended a lot of people by taking down this miscreant, the Michael Jackson impersonator who died when he got him after he'd gotten him in a chokehold and was assisted by other people. Mm-hmm. And we also have the video of him trying to revive this guy.
Yeah, well, putting him in a recovery position so that he could breathe. And we don't know what was in his system. He could have had fentanyl. He could have had all of these other drugs in his system. And that's the other thing that really bothers me, Bill, is that people are talking about something that we don't have all the details on. And they're asking him to be prosecuted, but we don't have all the details of what caused this because, yes, he was in a chokehold for 3 minutes, but at the end of the day, he was still breathing. So was there something else that was added to it that the Marine could have not known about?
But he wouldn't have been there, and he wouldn't have been in a chokehold had he been held in prison in one of the 44 times they arrested him.
Well, and if he has a mental illness, we don't have a place for those people. Mm-hmm. We need to figure that out in this country. And it gets to be a slippery slope because there are no easy answers. And when you start talking about mental health and you're wanting to institutionalize people, that gets really scary, Bill, because who gets to decide that? Who determines who needs to be institutionalized and who doesn't? I mean, for me, it gets a little dicey.
Well, this goes all the way back to 1962. There is a speech that was made by President Kennedy, who was talking about how deplorable the conditions were in mental institutions, and that wasn't right. And unfortunately, it was taken to the extreme of getting rid of all the mental institutions for the most part, with very few exceptions. We have one here in Savannah called Georgia Regional that does a great job, but for the most part, the Sheriff's Department takes care of these mental, and our Sheriff John Wiltshire has said on numerous occasions, I'm supposed to be the sheriff. I'm not supposed to be housing mental patients, but I have the biggest mental institution in the state, and his budget just for medicine, Brittany, is $10 million a year.
That's insane. That's absolutely insane.
It is pathetic what we're dealing with. And those mental institutions at the time in 1962 were in bad shape. You heard there was a movie made, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, with I think Jack Nicholson. Mm-hmm. And it was about the horrible treatment in mental institutions, and that they were performing lobotomies on people. It was Hollywood at its worst or finest. One of those, you would take your pick. But everybody got the impression that all the mental institutions were like that, and mental institutions for the most part went away. And so all these people now out on the streets, and these people deserve to be, to be able to mingle with everybody else. No, they don't. There are some who can, but there are others who cannot or need special treatment. Yeah. And that's what those institutions are for. And I'm sorry they deteriorated into such deplorable conditions at one point.
Yeah.
But it's tough to get people to work in those facilities. That's for sure. There's always a help wanted sign. There's help wanted sign hanging out everywhere now. Mm-hmm. But Georgia Regional always has one out, and has had for the 40 years I've been back in Savannah. And and they do a great job. And these people that are there they're heroes that work there.
Yes.
But the whole point is that we have to get a hold of this mental situation, and it's not helping when you've got fentanyl coming across the border by the ton.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We have so many problems in this country right now, and we're worried about sending money to Ukraine. Mm-hmm. A couple of things right before we go to break. Lizzie Warren's with us today. She said, surely Kamala Harris reads the speeches before she's giving them. You would hope so, but that's a lot of credit for her.
Yeah, surely she is the border czar. She should be going to the border, shouldn't she, Liz?
Yes, and the illegals are coming into this country with an entitled attitude. I think we should discuss that further, because even right here in Savannah, the school system yesterday, the school board meeting, they had people advocating for more resources for Spanish speakers, and that they need to have translators in every classroom.
No, they don't.
It's a challenge. We're not even getting the resources we need for the children that speak English. So it's an added burden for us to try and come up with that. I don't know what the answer is, but
Dalai Lama says we ought to learn Spanish.
Well,
yeah. No, they ought to learn English.
Yes.
I've got an example for you coming up right after the break. Stay real.
Serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934, with personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance. With integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
At Get Real America, we are focused on Savannah, but we'd like to hear from other communities as well. We have a lot in common. Come join us today at Sweet Potato's Kitchen for some of that good Southern home cooking, like fried chicken, fish, and mouth-watering banana pudding. Say it's the best in the world, and you won't get an argument from me. Also, those vegetables are fresh and delicious. voted Southside's best restaurant in Savannah at least 5 times, and large corporate parties are welcome. Tell them Bill Edwards sent you. Drop by and eat today. Everybody loves sweet potatoes.
Welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
It's Thursday. It's the 11th day of May, Mother's Day weekend coming up. And just before the break, we were talking about these people that said, oh, we need more resources to teach these kids Spanish or to communicate with them in Spanish. No. They need to learn the language. If you're coming here, learn English. I would consider it an insult. If I were moving let's say I moved to Germany for whatever reason, I would feel it rude if within a year I wasn't speaking German fluently. Now, I took German in high school and in college, and I'm pretty good at languages. And I speak a smattering of German, and I'd immerse myself in it. Turn on television, watch German television, listen to German radio, talk with people, and converse with people. Go down and the wait staff or whatever. Try to get me the schnitzel and doodle and beer or whatever.
And I will tell you what, people respect you so much more when you're trying.
Exactly. Yeah,
and they will help you.
Yeah. In fact, my German teacher in college, great guy, said he was in Germany, stationed in Germany in the Army, and he was trying to work. And he said sometimes it would be a little embarrassing when you're trying to say something and using one word that sounds a little like the word you really want to use. He said, it's always embarrassing if they look at you and say, would you prefer to express yourself in English? He said, okay.
But I'm trying here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you're trying. Now, I'll give you an example. When I was in the 4th grade at Jacob G. Smith Elementary School, right up the street from our studios, we had a young man come in. I think he was from South America somewhere. It may have been Argentina. It may have been Bolivia. I don't know. Can't remember. That's been quite a while. But he could say, hello, thank you, can I go to the bathroom? That was about it that he could say in English. Within 2 weeks, he was having conversations with us almost in flawless English. A little bit of an accent, and within a month or two, it was perfect. Some years ago, I did an interview with a young man who had come here from Holland who was on America's Got Talent. And I managed to get an interview with him, and his English was flawless. And I said, how long did it take you to learn English when your family moved here from Holland? He said, about 3 months. And he had it mastered. And when you immerse yourself in the language, and that's what they teach you in any of these schools, so this nonsense about we need more money for interpreting for these people. No, we don't. Give them Rosetta Stone or something. That's $400. That's a lot cheaper than hiring people to do something that is not necessary. You're going to come here, learn the language for God's sake. These ingrates, like you said, the people that feel entitled. That we're getting it just burned me up that in New York City that they are a sanctuary city. Mm-hmm. Was putting people up in $1,000 a night hotel rooms, 5-star hotels that were being destroyed by these people, and we were giving them food, and they said, "Oh, we don't want that." What'd you want? Tacos? And we were throwing away bags of food. We didn't do that for the homeless.
Nope.
We didn't do that for our homeless, especially our homeless veterans.
Yeah.
They even built this $5 million facility that was air conditioned, and that I'm not thinking they're even using it now. Yeah. Pool tables, foosball tables, video games, TVs galore, and it's hardly even. I don't even think it's even being used now.
Yep, probably not.
Yeah,
I mean, it is a huge problem, and in the money. The money that they think we should have to spend on things.
Exactly.
And the money doesn't come from the government. It comes from the taxpayer. Yep, exactly. And, I don't know about you, but it's gotten a lot more expensive, not only to live, but also our taxes are going up. So we're taxed on everything. So, our friend Lizzie also said, donate to the Marines Defense Fund. He is going to need a really good defense attorney. They are going to put him through the ringer, especially in New York.
I'm worried about this because yesterday in Texas, that verdict came down of the Army guy who was driving an Uber defending himself, was just sentenced to 25 years in prison for defending himself.
In the state of Texas.
In Texas.
And you know what this comes down to, Bill? People not going and serving jury duty. Everyone wants to get out of jury duty, but we need more people that are common sense people going and sitting on juries. I will tell you, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. I really liked jury duty. I thought it was, interesting, and you learn a lot. And it's really important that we don't try to get out of jury duty all the time. But every time someone has jury duty, they're always trying to get out of it. But we need people to sit on these juries so that people like that are not going to prison because we have a bunch of activists on juries.
In fact, when I was at Ole Miss, we had the law school brought in F. Lee Bailey, who was at the zenith of his career at the time, on the cover of Newsweek and Time magazine. And one of the things he said one of the biggest fallacies of the law is that you're promised a jury of your peers. He said that's one of the nicest fallacies of the law. He said your peers are too busy. Most of the time, you will not get a jury of your peers if you are in court for some from capital offense or from some other serious offense as well. And at the time, of course, that was where the workforce was 98% men. He said sometimes you'll see the wives of executives on juries, and he said women are either the very best or the very worst jurors.
Yep.
And he said,
or emotional.
Mm-hmm, yeah. He said when they're good, they're very, very good, and when they're bad, they're horrid.
Yes, that sounds accurate. I feel that way with female bosses too.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Exactly.
I've had a myriad of them. So.
I've had a couple of them. The two I've had, fortunately, have been terrific.
Yep, I've had a mixture. I've had a mixture of really good ones, but also males are that way too. But I think males have like more of a standard in which they like lead by, where women, it can really go either way. So
there is, as hard as it is to believe, there is a difference between men and women.
There are two genders?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry. If you're offended by this, then, that's what the on-off switch is for.
Yes. This is probably not the show for you.
No,
if you get offended easily. But, Bill, we have so many issues going on, and I just feel like, when are people going to start being upset enough that they get involved? And one of the things that so we have issues in the Republican Party. Everyone knows it, no secret. I really wish Trump would have stayed away from the DeSanctimonious or whatever he calls Ron DeSantis.
Yeah.
I wish that he would stay away from that.
Circular firing squad's not going to work.
Well, not only that, sit down with Ron DeSantis and figure out a plan, come up with a strategy. We do have to have successors. And if we're always tearing down the next person that can take over and do the right thing.
Make him your vice president candidate.
Well, or let him continue to be the governor of Florida and shine there and promote him for when you're done in 4 years. Because we have to have someone that people respect and that people will vote for. If Trump continues to trash DeSantis, Trump voters will not vote for DeSantis in 2028. Mm-hmm. Just a thought.
Yeah. Coming up, we're going to be going back to our regular feature that we have with Jay Ratliff, aviation analyst, and we got a lot to catch up on and talk about. Jay's been out for some health reasons, but he's going to be back with us on a regular basis talking about what's happening in the airline industry. Jay Ratliff on the way. At Get Real America, we want to make sure that the real story gets out, and you can help us as a sponsor or as an advertiser to make sure that that word does get out to the community.
Be a sponsor and support your local community here at Get Real America.
I don't think it's an accident that I ended up writing music for a living, because I think I lived in a house where I saw how deeply it affected everyone in the house. and just how much everyone defined themselves by the music they listened to.
Music as a framework, I think, gave my parents my identity from a young age. You can like any music that you want if it makes you feel happy. And now when I hear certain songs, I think of them, and I think of them in their happiest state, and it makes me happy.
If they seem like they're having trouble talking about something, I try to tell them about a time when I felt something similar.
Whatever the issue was, we would tell them the pros and cons and how important it was, and that they had come to us because we could always help them. I think the real important point, we always told them, no matter what you do, no matter what happens, we will help you through it no matter what it is.
Come join us today at Sweet Potatoes Kitchen for some of that good Southern home cooking, like fried chicken, fish, and mouth-watering banana pudding. Say it's the best in the world, and you won't get an argument from me. Also, those vegetables are fresh and delicious. Voted Southside's best restaurant in Savannah at least 5 times, and large corporate parties are welcome. Tell them Bill Edwards sent you. Drop by and eat today. Everybody loves sweet potatoes.
Serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934, with personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance, with integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
Welcome back to Get Real America. I'm Bill Edwards. Glad to have you aboard on this Thursday morning, and a pleasure to welcome back to the airwaves here with us, or the streaming waves, whatever the hell this is. Jay Ratliff, aviation analyst and expert extraordinaire in airline stuff. And Jay, great to have you back.
Hey, good day to you, my friend.
So we got a lot to catch up on, Jay, especially the things that are going on in the airlines now, and I think a lot of people are worried with the post-pandemic comeback. And the airlines are having all sorts of growth issues. I mean, it's a nice problem to have, but at the same time, with experience, we need more pilots. And we haven't had any tragic accidents so far, but we have had a lot of these collisions on the ground of wingtip incidents and things of that nature. What the heck's going on?
Well, if we're going to look at the summer travel season, one of the things that I think we need to start with is how many people are traveling. Mm-hmm. And the TSA gives us every day a number of people that they screened the previous day. If you go to Google and just type in TSA numbers, you can pull up the TSA checkpoint travel numbers. And what's interesting is to compare the 2023 numbers to pre-pandemic 2019. What you're going to find, Bill, is more people are flying today than we did pre-pandemic. Now, what makes that fascinating is that we have airlines that have parked hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of planes. They have taken thousands of flights out of their flight schedule because, as you mentioned, they are understaffed as far as pilots, mechanics, ground workers, and they're operating on a less than full schedule. So we're going to have more people flying this summer than we had pre-pandemic, with 500, 600, 700 airplanes grounded, tens of thousands of flights, fewer flights canceled out of the summer travel season than what we had before. And that means we're going to have more packed flights than ever. And it's going to be real interesting as we proceed because the airlines were warned last summer, last fall by the Department of Transportation, guys, get your act together. If we have another travel season where we have thousands of canceled flights, tens of thousands of passengers every day inconvenienced, there's going to be consequences. So the airlines listened, and they have withdrawn many of the scheduled flights from their summer travel season, which is really difficult for them because this is when they make the most money. Mm-hmm. Memorial Day to Labor Day is the busy summer travel season. Airfares are higher, planes are packed. They make a lot of the money for the year during this busy summer travel season, and it's going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out.
Jay, one of the things that I think that we are worried about as much as anything is that not only of the lack of personnel, but it seems like sometimes they are there are so many delays. We've had our transportation secretary, who I think is a monumentally incompetent, but has demanded that the airlines now start paying people for the inconvenience. And I can understand to a degree, pay for overnight hotel stay or some meals and things of that nature, even reimburse them for flights. How do you feel about that?
Well, we're already doing that in a lot of regards. I mean, if I'm on an American Airlines flight, an airline that you frequent, and let's say that they have a mechanical situation and you're in Charlotte trying to connect to the next flight, they can't get you out to the next day. American right now will put you up overnight. They'll give you a meal voucher. If ground transportation is required, they take care of that. So the vast majority of the airlines are already doing that. So it kind of made me think, why are we making a big deal out of this? Because most of the carriers are already doing it. Now, I will give the Biden administration credit for putting pressure on the airlines to make changes so that families could sit together without paying all those exorbitant fees for the family to sit in the same row, because they were making quite a bit of money on that. Government came down hard on them, and I was shocked, Bill, shocked to see the airlines acquiesce and actually pivot and say, yes, we'll change things to make it affordable for the families to sit together. I was really surprised. So I've seen more things out of this administration than I've seen out of many that are trying to hold the airlines accountable, which I appreciate. And it's all about trying to make the travel easier for passengers this summer. In fact, good old Pete came out, and the FAA stated that they have a shortage of air traffic controllers in the Northeast. So they went to the Delta, United, Americans of the world and said, look, you've got a lot of flights in that busy Northeast corridor, New York, D.C., up in that area. We need you to cancel 10% of your summer flights. Well, like we said, airlines make more money this summer than any other time of the year. Mm-hmm. And for any government agency to come in and say, cut 10% of the planned flights, in the past, airline executives would listen politely. They'd leave the room and they would laugh all the way down the hall, thinking there's no way in the world we're going to do that. This year, though, Delta and others have actually reduced their flights because they don't want to have an inordinate number of high delays, because those delays can cost money. So they're trimming their flights. And all of this is geared towards trying to make travel this summer easier and more convenient and less of a hassle than it is for other people. So, and really, I'm hoping that as the summer comes out, we're going to see all of this really come together.
Jay, what are we doing as far as, Southwest Airlines has had such a great reputation over the years and been selected as, the best and the best on time and things of that nature. And then we went through this thing where they were everything they did was wrong, and they said, well, we haven't upgraded our computer system. That seemed to be something that was almost a contradiction, that Southwest was so good for all these years, and yet they hadn't upgraded their system for people getting stranded.
Well, it's interesting when they come out saying we've not upgraded our computer system since the late 1990s. Now, you and I talk about technology all the time. How would you like to run your studio based on technology from, say, 1998? It would be impossible. Mm-hmm. And of course, the employees for Southwest have been saying for some time, we've got to have updated computer flight following and the tools that we have. We need that. But Southwest for the last 20 years has failed to do that. And they have really left their employees kind of stranded out there on their own. And we've seen 3 different times, almost 4 now, over the last couple of years where the computer system is melted, passengers have been stranded coast to coast, and all you get are these passive little apologies from management. So to me, they really got to get their act together. This is an airline that used to be employee first. When they first got started and they were only flying in the state of Texas, they had 4 airplanes. And Herb Kelleher was the founder and president of Southwest, and they could not meet payroll. So what Herb said is, sell one of my 4 airplanes so that we can meet payroll, because the employees come first. So to me, that is something that really it kind of underscored how the airline began, and that really explains the love that you have between the employees and management. We've gone the complete opposite now. Pilots have been operating for a bunch of years, 4 or 5, absent a contract. They can't even get a return phone call. Employees are given tools that are 2.5 decades outdated. And the airline executives are more interested in keeping the shareholders happy than they are their employees. And of course, during this month of May, the pilots are taking a strike vote. We don't know where that's going to go, and we're several months away from anything happening. But Bill, the bottom line is Southwest is not the airline of old. They have made some stupid decisions, and unfortunately, it's the passengers that are paying the brunt of it, the price of it.
Yeah. And our executives here got their knees bloody for 20 years begging them to come to Savannah. And I'm glad they're here. But that's it.
I am too, because they're a great airline. But look, they've got to get their act together. And they've said they're going to spend a lot of money upgrading their system. I really, really, really hope that's going to be the case, because if they get into this summer and they have another technical meltdown, I mean, the government's going to be all over them. But look, from a technology standpoint, you can only do so much. And anytime you look at the history of aviation, when you have American and U.S. Airways come together, they don't completely redo the computer systems. They integrate them. They patch them together. When you had United and Continental come together, same thing. Mm-hmm. It took them, I think, 5 or 6 years to finally get their computers working the way they wanted to, because it is such a huge cost to get those systems integrated, replaced, merged, whatever word you want to use. And you look at any airline, and it's not one airline, it's kind of a combination of 5, 6, 7 airlines. And you have all of these systems that are kind of patched together. And that's really where the problem lies, because you overtax these systems and they're going to fail. We've seen it from every airline, but we've seen it of late more and more from Southwest Airlines, and their problems aren't fixed. I mean, they're one hiccup away from having people stranded once again from coast to coast. Now, I'm not saying don't fly Southwest. I'm just saying be aware that if all their flights are filled and they have another 3 or 4 days of cancellations, it could take you 5, 6, 7 days to get home.
Amazing. And finally, to wrap it up, Jay, for this week, we've heard that Delta, because of the pilot shortage, is saying that they're going to extend the hours that their pilots can operate. Of course, I've been under the impression that maybe they have too much time off as it is, but that's just me. What do you say?
Well, to me, it is something that when I look at, you can only fly so many hours a month based on the Federal Aviation Administration, so you can't go past that. But they're going to ask the pilots to fly a little bit more, which is going to give them a little bit less time off. With the shortage of pilots right now, you have pilots that are flying with less time off than what we've had in the past, and some of them are tired. And a lot of these pilots are saying, look, you cannot keep pushing the pilots, counting on us to pick up the slack indefinitely. Yes, it's working now, but we can't keep this pace up because you don't want tired, exhausted flight members on the flight deck. You want people that are well rested, and you go from there. So right now, hopefully they can get it fixed, but to me, they should be operating the schedule based on the employees they have, how they can operate it, not trying to push everybody harder to do more.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Jay, it's a pleasure to have you back. I'm glad everything's okay, and I bet my best to Sherry and the gang, and we'll look forward to talking to you again next week.
Believe me, the pleasure's mine, my friend. Good talking to you.
God bless. Take care.
Thank you.
Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a ride. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah.
When you're looking to buy a business or sell a business, the experts at Best Business Brokers have you covered. Whether you're ready to cash in on your years of hard work or you're taking that first step in buying a business of your own, they're here to guide you through the process and make sure you get the best outcome possible. By having Best Business Brokers assist you when you buy a business or sell a business, they handle the legwork of the intricate process. This ensures a smooth transition of ownership, allowing you to get to work immediately or receive payment for your business as soon as possible. With base operations in Savannah and Charleston, they service all of Georgia and South Carolina. If you're considering starting a business here, the mild winters and 5-tiered economic areas make these the perfect places to do so. If you're ready to buy a business or sell a business, then you're ready to contact Best Business Brokers. Visit their website at b3brokers.com or call at 912-349-0940.
Serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934 with personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance. With integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
Come join us today at Sweet Potato's Kitchen for some of that good Southern home cooking, like fried chicken, fish, and mouth-watering banana pudding. Say it's the best in the world, and you won't get an argument from me. Also, those vegetables are fresh and delicious. Voted Southside's best restaurant in Savannah at least 5 times, and large corporate parties are welcome. Tell them Bill Edwards sent you. Drop by and eat today. Everybody loves sweet potatoes.
Welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
We're going down the home stretch here on this Thursday morn. And once again, reminder, Mother's Day coming up on Sunday.
Yes, make sure you call your mother if she's in town. Make sure you're taking her somewhere nice. There's plenty of places in Savannah.
Yep. Wish I could call mine.
Yes. Send flowers. Make sure your mother knows how grateful you are that she raised you to be a good human.
Mm-hmm. Or if you are married to a mom,
yes,
then make sure that she gets the best treatment ever.
Yes. I think one of my mom's favorite things was when we used to attempt to make breakfast. I mean, I don't know that it was ever really that edible when we were younger, but we tried. We tried, and it was the thought. It was the thought that counts. So,
for real.
One of the things that I heard that was kind of interesting, Bill, was, people are like, what if Trump chose Kennedy to be his running mate as vice president?
You mean John Kennedy? Senator Kennedy from Louisiana?
Yes. No.
Robert F. Kennedy?
Robert F. Kennedy.
He's a Democrat.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why people think it would be interesting. Exactly. But here's the other thing. He's kind of more of the blue dog Democrat, and he kind of fits a little bit within the profile of Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you look at how far the Democrat Party has moved, I mean, really the Republicans have kind of really moved over into more of that moderate compared to 20 years ago.
Yeah. RFK Jr. right now, I hope he has good security, because he's now accusing the CIA of killing his uncle.
Well, he's not the only one. Well, Tucker Carlson came out a couple of weeks ago, too.
I understand that. But I know that Tucker's got good security.
Yes.
But RFK Jr. better have some as well.
Yeah, he's really putting a lot of stuff out there. And I think that, it's stuff that people don't hear on the other side. But the fact that he is running as a Democrat, I think that there will be more light shed on some of the things that have been swept under the rug.
When you have an incumbent president who is so unpopular that a guy who comes out of the woodwork and says, I'm going to run for president, already has almost 20% support from the party, then you know how much trouble we're actually in.
Yes, we are in a lot of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. The other thing is I do think that on the Republican side, we do have people that are up and coming. You have like a J.D. Vance. You have, I mean, we have some all-stars on our side.
We do. Got a strong bench.
Yes, we do. And the Democrats really, they don't. Who are they going to bring out? Gavin Newsom, Michelle Obama? Like, it's the same people.
Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, that'll be
the
exciting.
Hildebee's talking about. Yeah.
I cannot get excited about that at all. Like,
especially nobody can except her.
Yeah, she won't win. Mm-mm. So there's that.
Yeah.
There's that.
Yeah. Well, in fact, when she, remember after 2016, she came out with that book. It said, "What happened?" Hillary Clinton. There was a book that asked and answered the question on the cover.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's not popular, not likable. And I think that this is a lesson to people. If you're not likable, you can't win elections.
Uh-huh.
You can be appointed to Secretary of State, but you cannot win an election.
And always love the argument. Said, well, the public needs to get to know her better. We need to bring her out and show more people who she is. We've known who she is for 40 years. Okay, they don't need to put any more lipstick on this pig, metaphorically speaking.
Yeah, she's not popular, and even being a woman, I'm just like, that is not. The Democrats bring out the worst women. I'm like, can you guys find someone like Tulsi Gabbard? I'm like, she was Democrat. Mm-hmm. She's kind of more independent now, I would say, but pick someone like that. But no, they have to find Kamala Harris.
Oh yeah, but the Hildebeest said that the Tulsi was a Russian operative.
I guess we all are. If they don't like you, you're automatically a Russian operative.
The woman that gave what's his name the reset button. Oh, brother. When she was Secretary of State, unfortunately.
She was a horrible Secretary of State.
Oh, without a doubt. And the one we got now is no jewel either.
Again, not a very deep bench. They bring back the same people over and over
Lincoln
again.
and Blinken, who has had a lot to do with the cheating in the last election. Yes, there was cheating. Sorry. This gets us put in YouTube purgatory again. I'm sorry about that. The truth hurts. As the old Spanish proverb goes, tell the truth, then leave quickly.
Yes. It's a good idea, Bill.
Yeah.
Good idea. So John Kennedy, interesting video from him grilling some of these Democrats that have basically lied to everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Senator Kennedy, you're on.
Well, I have several concerns about the approach. The first of which is it's completely untested. It's never been tried in this country. We have more than 100 years of history with the income tax, and
Europe's tried it, haven't they?
No, they've tried wealth taxes.
Yeah.
Their experience with wealth taxes has
How
been
did that turn out?
Bad. It
Why is
resulted
that?
in a lot of taxpayers exiting the country, for one thing. In France, for instance, other countries that have tried it. And you suddenly lose a big chunk of your tax base that you're trying to tax there. We have that option in this country as well. The result has been that most of those countries in Europe that have tried a wealth tax have rolled them back, including France, because they were administratively challenging. The basic challenge is what you're describing, trying to value assets without real market transactions. So this is a valuation dispute. It means we get the IRS engaged in yet another challenge. They're currently doing this with the estate tax. Those estates that are subject to the estate tax, those valuation episodes can go years and years and years.
Can I have 30 more seconds?
Proceed.
Dr. Is it Clausen? Clausen?
Yes.
Yeah. Why do you and Dr. Yagan, why do y'all want to punish wealthy people?
I think I can speak for both of us that we're not interested in punishing anyone. We're interested in
you're
having
interested
a
in taxing
fiscal
the hell out of
system.
them more than anybody else.
I think
what makes you think that making tax policy on the basis of class or status makes sense?
I think it's a very American phenomena that throughout the history of the income tax, we have valued progressivity, and our current income tax does that. We used to rely on things like tariffs to raise revenue. Tariffs are regressive consumption taxes that disproportionately hurt the poor. We believe in this country that those with the greater ability to pay should pay more of the burden. And that's part of what a healthy capitalism does. It enables people to gain from things like trade and technological change and business innovation, and to contribute a little more to the fiscal system when they're very successful in doing so. And I think that that's a very legitimate way to structure the tax system.
Can
And
I ask you a question?
Yes.
Why do you think so many wealthy people are leaving New York City?
New York City is, an incredible city of innovation, immigration, entrepreneurship.
Yeah, but why are so many wealthy people leaving?
I think there are big advantages to living near centers of entrepreneurial activity, and we see that on the West
You think
Coast
they're
as well.
leaving to be nearer to centers of entrepreneurial activity, do you?
Well, I don't think there are a lot of people, fleeing New York City. That New York City has.
Sure they are. There are thousands. I mean, there have been study after study after study. Why are so many wealthy people leaving New York City?
I think there's an enormous number of wealthy people who are in New York City and continue.
But why are so many leaving?
I can't speak to why particular people.
I can
leave.
tell you why.
know
It's
that-
taxes. You know that as well as I do. It's
I
taxes.
think if you look at the economic.
Some of it's crime, but most of it is taxes.
Well,
people vote with their feet. The same reason that people are leaving California and moving to Austin.
If you look at California, it's one of the most successful economies in the world, and it continues to be so. It attracts people.
But they're
as
losing
well.
people.
I don't think it's in any danger of decline, nor is New York City. And these are very vibrant places.
I don't think we're going to
for
ever
fundamental
agree.
reasons. Yeah.
I don't think we're going to ever agree. But I appreciate the time of all three of you.
Thank you.
To be fair, there also are people moving the other way. There are people who move to New York. They just don't all leave from New York. It's a two-way street in and out of New York. And it's a two-way street between Austin and California. People leave Texas and go to California, and some of them do very well.
Well, that's true, Sheldon, but I can show you study after study after study, as you well know, and as the professor knows. It shows that people are leaving high-tax states and moving to low-tax states. All you have to do is
Well, they also leave.
all you have to do is look at the demographics. Pick the 9 states that have, say, a state income tax, and compare that, or that don't have a state income tax, and compare that to the states that do. It's called tax avoidance, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly legal.
People have different preferences. If you look at where immigrants choose to live in the United States, they often go to those same places that you were talking about. So I do think that, there's movement in both directions.
Yeah, but here's here's my point. Mm-hmm. Here's what I think rational people do, and here's what I bet all three of you would do, and I bet Sheldon would do it because he's a smart guy. Okay, if he won the lottery tomorrow and won $10 million and paid his taxes and has $6 million left, he's going to at least consider, you are too, moving to Florida because they don't have a state income tax.
For the record, no, I wouldn't. Never crossed my mind.
Well, I don't mean you're irrational, Sheldon, you know that.
It can be quite rational to not want to live
But when
in
you're
Florida
liquid,
right now.
when you're liquid, and you don't have to pay a 6% off the top versus 0%, it's a rational economic move, is it not?
I agree. It's rational. I mean, the thing about taxes that we're talking about is they're a cost or a price, and so claiming that this cost or price doesn't matter is essentially throwing out the very basic law of demand, the basic fundamental idea in economics. The prices matter, the costs matter.
See, this is what this always boils down to, and there's no way we'll ever agree. Okay. But at least two of you believe that government, all things being equal, can spend a dollar better than people can. And that's your this is America. You can believe that.
For the record, that's not in their testimony.
I just don't agree with you. I think people can spend the dollar better, all things being equal. And all you have to do, if you know the history of government, you know that I'm right. But I don't expect you to agree with me because you're professors. Okay? Thanks, Sheldon.
He never gets old.
Not understanding the
He's a
free
gem.
enterprise system, when they say that Donald Trump didn't pay taxes or didn't pay enough taxes or whatever, how many people does he employ throughout his Trump organization? How much tax do they pay? So whether it's vicariously or whatever, because poor people can't help poor people. I've never worked for a poor person. You have to have extra money, just like farmers. If a farmer didn't produce enough food except to feed his own family and maybe a next door neighbor, we'd all be starving to death.
Yes, we would. And we're out of time for today, Bill.
We sure are.
So we will see you guys on Monday. Have a good weekend.